Now, there were two stories that I felt like I did a disservice to today in the news, so I wanted to take this time to actually break down the stories a little bit more. And one of those stories was, one of those stories was, um, the plan for Jeff Hardy to return. I mean, I know there was not much to say, or there couldn't be much to say, because of the fact that Jeff Hardy is not coming back. But I feel like I just rushed to finish that news video specifically because of how long we were going, and I just wanted to say that I, for one, completely agree with Matt. As Matt Hardy, for those who may not know, said, and I quote, that he doesn't think that his brother should come back unless his brother can rehab his in-ring style, rework his in-ring style, put himself in a better position to succeed for the future and work for the future. And I completely agree with that. I think Jeff could come back to the company, but he needs to stop doing the high-risk stuff. I mean, I know that some people may not want to hear it, but Jim Cornette said that from the very beginning, that Jeff does not need to do the high-risk stuff anymore. He's not in his 20s. He's in his 40s. He needs to adapt and change. And I hope that if Jeff Hardy does come back, which I think it is 100% a possibility that Jeff Hardy does come back, because to say that the Hardy Boys are not a tag team that could give AEW not just depth, but another tag team in that division, that people would not want to see the Hardy Boys come back, would be a complete lie. Everyone would want to see the Hardys come back for that one run that they could have gotten last year had things gone a little bit different. But Jeff Hardy, I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope that he starts getting himself back on track and gets himself in a better position, and that I hope we do see Jeff come back to AEW at some point. Also, another thing that I basically brushed past was the twist and turns report for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, as I even had an idea of what WWE could do, or what we could see, because we could still see the 6-person tag team match for WrestleMania one night, and then the next night give them the tag team title match. Have Damage Control fight one night against Becky Lynch, Trish, and Lita, and then have them fight the next night against Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. I know that some might say, oh, well, but you're giving, for talent the same thing. Yeah, but you're giving Becky, you're giving Bayley, you're giving, Trish and Lita, you're giving a lot of these people that deserve an opportunity to be on WrestleMania, namely Becky and Bayley, the opportunity to be on WrestleMania. I'm not saying that Ronda and Shayna do not deserve to be on WrestleMania. They do, but what they also deserve is the opportunity, unless you can come up with another idea. I don't know if there's another idea for Becky Bayley and more women to be included on the show. Or even Becky Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, all to be included on the show, because I think, I could be wrong, but I think it's more likely that Becky and Lita challenge Ronda and Shayna, then we see Dakota Kai and Io Sky, not because Becky and Lita, I'm still getting used to that being a tag team. Becky and Lita are better champions. It's because they're more known in the mainstream. It's because more people pay attention if Becky and Lita are out there than Io Sky and Dakota Kai. Because also, if you want to ask the question, if you did a match where Dakota Kai and Io Sky defended against Ronda and Shayna, who would be the good people, the good guys? Who would be the good guys? in that match. You know, you could make a case that if you book Charlotte right, that Charlotte would be the babyface against Rhea Ripley. You could make a case for that. But can you make a case that Dakota Kai and Io Sky would be the good, or do you want them to be the baby faces compared to Shayna and Ronda? Because I highly doubt people will cheer for Shayna and Ronda, and you don't want people to mentally check out of the women's tag team title match at WrestleMania. So with that being said, either you make it a triangle match where both teams are involved or all three teams are involved, but then you wonder, like, Becky and Bayley, how do you involve those guys outside of just being ringside attendants? You know, and what do you do from there? But now's as good a time as any to mention that WrestleMania, before WrestleMania, I will be doing previews exclusively. I will be splitting off the news with WrestleMania. Anything WrestleMania will not be in a video, specifically on the day that it comes out. If that makes sense. Specifically on the day that it comes out, it will not be in the video. And I will wait until there's enough news on WrestleMania to appear in its own video, which is what I was thinking about doing today. I was thinking about holding back the news on the women's tag team titles, and I was also thinking about holding back the news on the Brock Lesnar and Omos match, because I didn't want the Brock Lesnar and Omos match to be the feature. Like, I thought that it would be better to just hold it back, bring it out when I needed it, and maybe piece together a better thing so we could focus on WrestleMania, as opposed to having to worry about WrestleMania getting lost in the shuffle, or there being too much other news to get to, so on and so forth, and just being worried about that stuff. And I ultimately chose maybe the wrong decision, because I chose to have WrestleMania be just right in the middle, because it was minor news about WrestleMania. I chose to have it be minor news right in the middle, and that wasn't fair to that news, because it is WrestleMania, and that is something that if I've learned anything about doing these videos, it is that if there's one thing that you guys like to hear about, it is WrestleMania. The other news that we got to get to is, or that deserved a little bit more attention, was MLW and Reelz and their TV deal. I found out through Fightful Select that MLW's TV deal with Reelz is set to expire after 10 weeks, and that MLW may have an issue because they may need to find somewhere else to go, because Reelz is going to premiere on Peacock, and MLW will not be going to Peacock with them. One of MLW's biggest shows of the year, Super Fight, is set to take place in early April. So it is the question of what comes next for MLW with Super Fight coming up and the pay-per-view, the TV deal expiring. Like, what happens next? I mean, I don't really know, because the fact of the matter is, I wasn't expecting to see this. I thought that MLW was safe and secure on Reelz, but apparently they're not. And unfortunately, according to Fightful Select, the MLW Underground MLW Underground on Reelz is reportedly only lasting for a few more weeks. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, at Major League Wrestling airs new episodes of MLW of Underground on Reelz. This arguably is one of the promotion's biggest distribution deals they have ever had since the company re-emerged back in 2017, averaging 83,000 viewers per episode. Normally, I would say minor companies like Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, companies like that, Ring of Honor, etc. They don't hit the numbers that AEW and WWE hit. So 83,000 viewers ain't that bad. But according to a report from Variety.com, MLW is set to wrap up its tenure on Reelz after 10 weeks. The most recent episode, which aired on February 28th, was the fourth episode of Underground thus far. This news comes after word broke yesterday that Peacock was adding the Reelz live feed to their streaming service for the remainder of MLW's deal with Reelz. The live feed will not be available on Peacock at 10 p.m. Eastern, at the 10 p.m. Eastern mark on Tuesdays, due to the service's feature with the service's deal with WWE. It is currently unknown if MLW Underground will air on a different network after the 10 weeks, and I wonder if this will be something that is brought up in the lawsuit that MLW has with WWE, because MLW has a lawsuit pending with WWE after WWE, according to MLW, allegedly cost MLW a streaming deal due to exclusivity with, I believe it was Fox, and WWE's deal with Fox and SmackDown. So the fact that WWE is getting in the way again of an MLW television deal because of Peacock being associated, bringing on a live feed with Reelz, it is making it a little bit more interesting with that lawsuit. I, for one, hope nothing but the best for MLW, because, like I always say, seeing more places for the boys getting more places to work, it's nothing but better for the wrestling business. And it makes everything a little bit better for the professional wrestling business when there's more places for the boys to go and more places for the guys to work. And people like John Morrison found a home in MLW. Jacob Fatu and Alex Hammerstone are the legacies of MLW, and MLW is not going anywhere. But Hubbard Broadcasting is getting their biggest opportunity yet, in my opinion, being featured on Peacock and having a live feed on that distribution streaming service. But my question is, what does this mean for MLW? Honestly, I don't know. If I was Peacock, I would, if I was NBC Universal, I would maybe look to put MLW temporarily on the streaming service because of the possibility of losing WWE with the media rights deal. So I would not want to, do something to self-isolate from MLW. You know what I mean? But I do feel for MLW if they are going away after leaving, which I do think they probably will be leaving Reelz after 10 weeks, which is sometime in the middle of April. I do think that they will probably be leaving Reelz, which is unfortunate for them because this, as was mentioned in the Fightful Select article, is their biggest distribution deal yet. And it did nothing but help the promotion. It did nothing but make Court Bauer seem like a more legitimate promoter. It made the company seem nothing more than a more legitimate promotion. And it was nothing but good things for MLW, as it also showed off highlights of previous archival footage from MLW. And I just want to say, if this is something that you guys want me to do a little bit more often, where I give a little bit more of an emphasis to specific news stories, then let me know down in the comment section below, because I would most definitely do this, because 90% of the time I am not doing anything or much of note after a certain time of night. So having a little bit more to keep myself occupied would not be the worst thing in the world for me. But let me know down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on the fact that MLW might need a new home for their television network. Also, let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts on ROH and what the news from the television taping, that should ROH right now, in the position that they're in, should ROH be using New Japan talent, or should ROH just be developing their own talent and making a clear direction, and maybe a few months down the road start leaning on New Japan talent? Let me know down in the comment section below, because I know that is something that I spent a lot of time on in the news video earlier today, or yesterday. Sorry, because I'm not putting this up now. It might be. I don't know. Either way, that is it for me. And again, let me know down in the comment section below if you would like me to revisit more news articles over the course of the news cycle and dig a little deeper in some of the news. Let me know down in the comment section below, excuse me, if that is the case. If you feel like I did not give enough of a spotlight to certain stories and I just brushed past them and there's a lot more to give, then I will either find out, or I will let you guys know down in the comment section. I will let you guys know by posting another video spontaneously like I did with this one. With that being said though, I will see you in the next video.